Good afternoon, everyone, and especially our beloved Mr. Welcome to our oral presentation. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Jonathan Tan. So, as we know, the topic of the presentation is immortality. So, basically, we will talk about how the immortality affects human perception of life on four different areas. The first one is the current legal system, and then the second one is the human individual identity. The third one is social order, and the last one is the moral judgment. Alright, I hope you guys enjoy the whole presentation and hope you guys may learn something, some information from the presentation as well. Alright, I will pass it to Keiko Tanaka. See you.
Hi, I'm Keiko Tanaka. I'm going to talk about immortality affects the human perception of life on current legal system. I divide it into three parts. First one is death penalty. Second one is law for murder. Third one is life imprisonment. First of all, I'm going to talk about death penalty. Death penalty is maintaining in many countries such as China, Japan, Malaysia as a maximum punishment for deterrence against committing crime. However, after being immortality, death penalty can be grateful for someone who want to dead because of getting tired of their unending life. Then it can increase the crime for ending their life. That is why death penalty can be ineffective in immortality society. Secondly, I'm going to talk about laws for murder. With immortality, we merely have opportunity to death, as I said before. So, and a study shows that self-repairing the major cells can make come to the immortality. So if we are injured with a knife or something like that, we can repair by ourselves with it. So it leads to decrease the number of murders as a crimes. That is why stereotype for murder can be changed and law for murder have to be updated after being immortality. Sadly, I'm going to talk about life imprisonment. Please think that there are people in prison forever. It can be true, it can be real in the immortality society. As you can imagine, it can cost extremely and it needs significant large price. A study shows that $50,000 need for one person for 30 years in prison. They can live forever, then it needs unlimited cost and price. In addition, it can be also grateful for people who don't have enough money to live such a long time in their life. That is why, it can reduce the power of punishment. So life imprisonment have to be updated in terms of their system. As a conclusion, immortality definitely affect humans' perception of life in the field of murders, laws for murders, death penalty, and life imprisonment, as I mentioned before. Thank you for listening my presentation. Bye.
Beside current legal system, immortality would also change humans' perception of life in terms of human identity. Identity is defined as the relation that a thing bears only to itself. One way of arguing is suggest that immortality will take away the essence that make up our human identity, which is death. Essence is a certain set of core properties that are necessary or essential for a thing to be what it is, while essentialism is the view that every entity has a set of attributes that are necessary to us to identify and function. This belief, known as essentialism, was the standard view of the universe all the way up until the late 19th century. Moreover, human identity is usually heavily emphasized along with their personhood and their achievement. Some people fear death because they did not want to miss out things that they want to experience or complete in their life. This perspective of death is described as philosophical FOMO, fear of missing out, by contemporary American philosopher Thomas Nagel, but this may also vary according to different people's value about their life. This is because it will also have an impact on what they think about death in general or about that of a particular person. For example, if life is inherently good to you, then you will said to place a high value on the sanctity of life. Losing life or merely being alive will not be good on your perspective. In the other hand, if quality of life is what you value, then only life that are full of good experience are valuable. That might actually be valuable to you to possible and a terrible existence. Some may also suggest that being immortal would be the advance in technological process and development. This including some ideas such as cloning or uploading humans' brain into a cyborg. This interesting topic will lead us some questions such as, does the cyborg or clone has the same identity as the original biological body? According to principle of indiscernibility of identical by 17th century German philosopher Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, it states that if two things are identical, then they must share all the same properties. That leads us to think what are the limits on how much something can change and still be the same thing. If being mortal or having a biological body is an essential property to our own human identity, then being immortal would definitely shift our individual identity. As my conclusion, the viability of immortality will shift our current human identity.
Good afternoon, Mr. My name is Jonathan Tan. Welcome to my oral presentation. Today I'm going to present and elaborate immortality affects human perception of life on social order. Okay, first of all, social order can be defined as which society remains stabilized to cause all the cultural activity operates. However, once the immortality exists in the world will eventually lead to destruction of social order, such as life cycle, religion's belief, and human basic needs. How the existence of immortal will affect or even destroy the social order? According to a research, one of the many possibilities to achieve immortality is the application of technological immortality. It includes regenerative technology, self-healing material, or human cloning process. Therefore, this kind of technology are an important aspect that will bring a huge impact on the human perception of the life cycle. For example, you just have to imagine human unable to live an eternal life and become immortal just through human cloning or just like take some medicine. Consequently, the stages of human life cycle will extinct. Why? Because everyone become immortal and there will be no death in the world. In this case, the phenomenon of overpopulation will occur and the social order will be disrupted. How about the religion's belief? In my opinion, I believe that religion's belief will be another critical factor that will be affected by immortality. Why? Some of the secular thinkers believe that if you're morally good will be served of itself and the evil will stand on its own account. But the religions people like me still maintain that there are heaven and hell after the life. Therefore, the existence of immortal will break all the natural rules, include the violation of God's plan, and bring the religion discrimination to the world. Thus, human beings will stop believing in their own faith once they achieve immortality. And in this case, there will be a world without religions due to everyone stop believing in the life after death, like heaven or hell or any reincarnation. Lastly, we will talk about the human basic needs. Do immortal need basic needs? I don't think so. Why? If immortality is made possible, then the humans stay able to live their life without any foods, water, knowledge, or even self-actualization, then the physiological needs and growth needs will be useless to an immortal. Traditionally, like us, like you and me, human beings, we need physiological needs like water and food to survive. And we striving for growth needs. Why? For living and understanding purposes. Despite all of these important needs seem irreplaceable for us right now in current life, but one day it will become worthless and useless once the humans are able to live an eternal life and achieve immortality. And yeah, it's a wrap for my presentation, and thank you for listening.
Afternoon, Mr. And I'm Chan Wee Siang. Today I'm going to present about the perception of a moral judgment and the conclusion of this topic. There are three subtopics in this title, perception of moral judgment, which are personhood, exploit the good and bad of immortality, and also justify the morality of a person. Okay, the first subtopic of this perception of moral judgment is personhood. Personhood is the status of being a person. Personhood also can be defined as a controversial topic in philosophy and law, and is closely tied with the legal and political concepts of citizenship, equality, and liberty. If immortality applies to a person, the universal worth and exceptional standing will depend on a person's morality. The person can choose either using immortality in a good way or in a bad way, and so people can judge the worth of a person's existence. Exceptional standing also plays an important role in a person's life. And when immortality applies to a person, the person will use the immortality to make their life easier, but other people will not take it as a gift. They will continue the old ways of working hard so they can exceptional capes. The second subtopic is exploit the good and bad of immortality. People can judge a person's morality by a person exploiting the good and bad of immortality. A person exploiting the good of immortality can be considered as a person with high morality, so people will not consider them as a bad person. A person exploiting the bad of immortality and use it on profiting them as themselves as a selfishness will consider as a bad person. The person who exploit the bad of immortality should put under arrest so they will not do the same thing again. The last subtopic is justify the morality of a person. Justify morality of a person is not an easy task because human is a complicated creatures. That a person is very hard to judge by their appearance. When a person gain an immortality, they can easily escape death from the reaper. If a person has committed murder, crime, and then they fake their death to escape the crime they have committed, so the police can't catch them. Justify a person's morality can be defined by their action. For example, if a person sees an elderly cross the road, he or she will automatically, but they will help the elderly cross the road. That they will consider the person's morality is high. If a person simply throw rubbish on the floor, considered as a person with low morality. The conclusion of this topic is that we all agree that the immortality will change the perspective of a person's life. yeah, thank you for listening to our presentation, Mr. And I hope we have a good day.